Hello. So it's pretty windy here this evening, early evening, so I'll see how it goes. It's like really windy, but I love making videos outside. So yeah, today I've been thinking about, and I've been working a lot lately with some resolving some relationship issues with the Akashic Records, and so that's what I wanted to talk about. How helpful the working with the Akashic Records can be where there's relationship issues, especially where you sense that there's a soul connection with a person, a deeper connection, and yet, you know, there's a real energy charge with some of the patterns, and you can't really see how to resolve it. Sometimes the patterns. Hi there, Lee Jane. Lovely to see you here. Lee James. Sorry, I said your name wrong. Lovely to see you here. Thanks for showing up. So talking about relationship patterns and how the Akashic Records can really help with shifting those, especially where it's a soul relationship and you sense there's that soul connection, and like whatever you do in the relationship, there's sometimes the patterns are like have a strong emotional charge. Often they do have a strong emotional charge, and it's just even out of context of anything that's happened in the relationship. They cannot make sense, some of the patterns, when they have like that deep root in a past life situation, especially. So if you don't believe in past lives, it's probably not going to make as much sense. Another way of looking at can be that it's inherited patterns through the DNA. So that's an alternate way of understanding working with the Akashic Records, the soul records. So talking about how that can help resolving deep patterns. So I have found that with the Akashic Records, which are the energetic records of the soul, and they show up all the patterns and the main patterns and energies that we've been holding throughout lifetimes that really show up in relationships at times. So especially in key relationships, but in many relationships where there's just that strong soul connection. So what you can do with the Akashic Records is to identify the patterns, and it starts to really make sense of things. For example, there may have been a betrayal with a person in a past life, and that comes up again in this life. There's that betrayal situation, a situation where the person's betrayed you or you've betrayed them in some way, and there's such a strong emotional charge, it can be really hard to get past that and understand even where that betrayal came from, because you felt trust with that person, you didn't see that coming, and yet there's that betrayal pattern. So that can be to assist, and it can be hard to work through these patterns. They can have so much emotional charge. So with the Akashic Records, what you can do is you can clear the pattern, the energy of that pattern at soul level, and also to understand it, to look in the Akashic Records and find that, you had a lifetime, another lifetime with that person, or other lifetimes, and maybe this lifetime that person was the one that betrayed you in some way with said something or did something with someone else that was a really deep betrayal, and it doesn't make sense, and it can feel really hurtful. And yet when you look in the Akashic Records, you find there's this pattern, and there may have even been life after life with this person where one time you've betrayed them, another time they've betrayed you, and it's just like this pattern that keeps playing out between you. Yet at a deeper level, you may have a lot of love for each other. So reading and working in the Akashic Records can firstly assist you to understand that and to clear it, and to clear some of that energy charge. And and then be able to have that perspective of seeing, well, you know, often we've shown up in each other's lives to help us resolve these things. You know, we play different roles in different lives with each other, and it gives you that bigger perspective where you see, you know, it makes sense that, you know, this person's actually shown up in a way to help you to heal and resolve that pattern. And with that understanding and seeing how in different lifetimes you've perhaps done that too, and it's time to resolve that once and for all, to really shift that. You know, what is the root of that? What really is that about, that pattern? So, yeah, hopefully I'm explaining that in a way that's making sense and resonating. It's something I found so helpful because relationships are so key for us, and yet we can really struggle with patterns that show up again and again, and it can help make sense of patterns that show up again and again with different people. We may not understand why we keep attracting those same patterns again and again, and when we can clear it in the Akashic Records, it's not a magic wand. It just brings awareness. It shifts some of the energy charge. It shifts some of the old patterns, and then it's up to you to start behaving in new ways, to stop repeating that pattern. It's like it clears things so you can have an opportunity to more easily do something new. Like, just let it go. Just like the, you know, like the wind. Everything's a metaphor, so I'll use the metaphor of nature, that just like the wind can assist to clear, and the wind's a gift to assist to just clear old energies and just blow them away and release them and bring in the new. So also working in the Akashic Records, we can really just clear out those old energies and release them and open the way to bring in new experiences and new energies, because the soul will keep repeating the same things until you get it, until you get the learnings, until you get, you know, heal those patterns, and people can show up that we've known before to heal these things with, to heal these patterns with, so we can just acknowledge and experience more of the good feelings and the real love that we have for that person as we clear and heal some of those old patterns. So yeah, so that's my sharing today, and I hope that's interesting and helpful. Hi Carol, thanks for showing up on my live. Yeah, I'm just coming to the end of that now. I've been talking about, you know, healing relationship patterns with the Akashic Records. Yeah, I've probably said what I could think of to say about that, so you might like to just go back to the beginning and listen to the video. Thanks so much for showing up, and I hope that's helpful, because when we, as we heal and resolve and understand, because it's a lot about, actually I do remember something else I wanted to talk about. The Akashic Records, which are the soul records, one of the key things they do is really bring consciousness. Consciousness is key, and when we have consciousness and awareness of those patterns, that it's starting to rain now, love nature. So when we have that consciousness and awareness of patterns that are playing out in our life with people, and patterns that just repeat for us, the Akashic Records can really identify, you know, that's why I love it. It can make it really clear, like, what's the pattern in this situation? What's the cause of that? For example, I was talking about betrayal. It might be a jealousy pattern, or a pattern of hurt. And, you know, it just keeps playing out again and again. So with the Akashic Records, we can name it and identify it and bring that consciousness. Because when we have consciousness and awareness in our relationships, it makes a huge difference. And that it's easier not to step back a bit and have that have that awareness of what's going on. See that bigger picture. See how it's just a pattern that's come up to be resolved. And as you understand that, it's easier to release that, to have new experiences. So the Akashic Records really does that. It brings the consciousness to assist with that consciousness and awareness that makes it easier to respond rather than react in relationships, to get what's the learning here, why has this person shown up in my life with this pattern again, and what am I not getting about this? And in the Akashic Records you can actually clear, understand past lives that may have been the root of starting this pattern, because there's choices we've made at particular times. Things don't just happen to us. That's key with working with the Akashic Records. We understand things don't just happen to us. Patterns that keep repeating are from choices that we've made. They're an energetic pattern we've set up through our choices. So we started that, and we can resolve it and heal it and clear it through firstly shifting that energy in the Akashic Records, or just having that consciousness and awareness, which of course we can have in other ways too. The Akashic Records is one way of resolving and bringing understanding and awareness to relationship patterns. So as you can, more easily experience the love and the positive connection, the soul connection with people in your life. And there's just something else I was going to say there that came to me. One of the other things I found with the Akashic Records, it really helps to understand people in your life more from a soul perspective, to understand yourself more from that perspective. So understanding, why you're here, what your purpose is, understanding and getting the other person more from their soul perspective too. What their soul's here to express, how their soul's here to express themselves. And I found that amazing too, to understand people in my life more from their soul energy rather than just the personality level. So the Akashic Records has really helped me to do that too. And then it helps me to just understand, so that's why that person is like that, because that's their soul energy. And so it gives that understanding from another level of who we are and our true nature and expression. So yeah, I love working with the Akashic Records. It's one of my favorite ways of working, and I found it so powerful and life-changing for me and the people that I work with. So I love talking about the different ways that you can work with that, and how amazingly life-changing that can be, and just really helpful at another level than just talk therapies or the other emotional therapies, because you're working at a soul level. You can shift things at a soul level, because relationships are so important to us. They're really key to our enjoyment of life and happiness, I believe. So yeah, good to heal whatever is in the way of that. So thank you so much, Lee James and Carol, for showing up on my live and being there. It's so lovely to speak with people instead of just speaking to the phone. So even though I'm in this beautiful place, I don't mind too much. There's the trees and the wind and a bit of rain and beautiful landscapes. So I'm very blessed, and the earth, standing on the beautiful Mother Earth as well. So thank you so much for showing up and listening to my live. I hope you found something interesting there for you. Thank you so much.